Episode number 25 of Making the Case. When women play the field, they lose. Let's get it. Hey, what up? YouTube? Welcome back to Making the Case. Your host, none other than Dr. Jacob Isom, author, speaker, entrepreneur, father, educator, etc. Okay. Back at you with another episode. Of course, if you've been following me, we're on episode 25. I kind of feel like it's a milestone almost, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is. We winding down for season 1. Season 2, we're gonna switch up things just a little bit, add a little flair to it. You'll see. But of course, we gotta go off our 2-channel norms. One, we attack points and not people. And 2, we don't do all the cussing and derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here. And, do that entertaining and educating. Okay. The edutainment, as I like to call it, or as we call it. All right. Oh, so topic for today's episode: when women play the field, they ultimately lose. Let's get into my opening statement without further ado, right? So, for those of you that don't know what I mean when I say that when women play the field, they ultimately lose, I'm talking about women dating multiple men. Okay. The conversation has been out there for a very long time as far as, dating multiple people when, in the get to know stage, right? We understand that there is a double standard. Okay. But what I will say, what feminism has done, it has created this illusion that women want to do the same thing that men do. Okay. So that's why women feel like they should be dating multiple men. Just like for the most part, men have always kind of dated multiple women, talked to multiple women. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying it is what it is, right? I'm here to report the reality. Now, we can discuss whether or not, things are moral, ethical, right, wrong, indifferent, positive, negative, whatever. But at the end of the day, we got to address reality, right? The reality is for decades, probably centuries, men have always had multiple women, right? Have courted multiple women, been in a relationship with multiple women, right? So that's always been the case. What hasn't always been the case is women kind of being out there and dating multiple men or seeing multiple men. But of course, with the advent of feminism and things of that nature, sexual revolution, and everything, things have changed, right? I will say that what I've been seeing a lot in the YouTube streets or on social media is a lot of women are saying that are advising women to date other women. Now, I think that's dangerous advice to be given, right? Because women are not built like men, okay? That they're not built to handle the pressure of, and I'm not saying that women are sleeping with all these men. Now, what I will say is this: the man's intention is to sleep with you if he's dating you. Okay. That I can say. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into the minutia. I don't get to use that word often. Oh, the whole conversation and argument behind dating multiple people in regards to women. And, we're just going to have a conversation and see where it leads us, right? So I'm making the case the fact that women should not be dating multiple men because it's not in their nature to. It's in their nature to lock onto one man, secure that man, have babies with that man, and live happily ever after. Now, of course, we see in the modern times, things look a little bit different. And I think that's why the conversation has shifted. Okay. But still doesn't mean that it's not going to end up very bad for most women who try to implement that dating strategy. Okay. So without further ado, of course,
to be married. Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you, do you think dating a lot makes it easier or harder to find marriage?
I don't think it's a thing like that. So sometimes people don't understand the difference between dating and courtship. So dating is collecting data. If I go on a date with, if you weren't married, if I went on a date with you, I'm just meeting you. A lot of people want to lock in and make that's my man. Yeah. I'm not talking to anybody else.
My man.
But you're not. I just went on one date, right? Yeah. So you might go on a date with somebody tomorrow. I'm sitting at home waiting for David to call me. No, I'm going on with Keith tomorrow. So for me, dating is just collecting data. When one person is serious about you, and they'll let you know, like, nah, Shay, I don't want you dating anybody else. I only want to date you. And they're going to put forth more effort.
If a woman is dating multiple different people, and people can do whatever they choose to do, all I'm here to do is give you the information from a person that is successfully married. I understand that this woman wants to be married. I don't know who she is. I've never seen her before, but you guys sent me this video to react to, and so I'm going to do so. From a person that has been, my family is successfully married. You guys know who I am. My life story is not unfamiliar to you guys. As a person that lives this life, let me tell you something. If you see a woman that is dating multiple different guys, it is a strong possibility that not only is she having sex with at least one or more of those guys, but she is connected to those guys in one way or another. Or if she's serious about dating them, that she's using them or using one of them in some capacity or another. Listen, they can gaslight you. They can tell you whatever it is that they want you to hear. But it's not just about collecting data. It's them actually getting something out of it, emotionally, sexually. There's some level of fulfillment that she's seeking, getting attention, whatever it is, financially. She is getting something from multiple different people. And women are not meant to, since the beginning of time, women are not meant to spread themselves around, especially during the dating process.
They're going to call, they're going to occupy my time. And that allows that person to spend more time with me. I have a person like that in my life. We dated 1.5 years, and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to.
You're dating a lot right now, which means you don't have a more serious situation.
Well, no, I have a more serious situation. I say I date a lot, meaning I'm dating. I do date, but I do have a situation that's more serious.
Is that what you teach your ladies? Like, even if something seems to be working out, you should still.
No, people have to take you off the market. So here's the thing. What we do is we take ourselves off the market. I teach that you should allow the man to take you off the market. If he's interested in you, he will make it known.
She has a really good personality, and I understand her business model, and I'm not trying to stop anybody from getting their money. However, my question always comes back to, how can somebody teach it if they haven't been successful at it? How can you be, for example, a 21-year-old life coach? How can you teach somebody biblical principles when you actually haven't been a part of the church? Right? How can somebody teach you how to get rich and they are broke? Right? I don't understand it, and maybe I need to learn a little bit more about her, but I can't figure it out. And I think it's more or less a business. But if somebody is giving me marriage advice, for example, or how to get into a marriage successfully, wouldn't you want them to be married, especially a woman?
I want to date you exclusively. I don't want to date anybody else. I don't want you to date anybody else. At that moment, you are dating exclusively. Now you're moving to courtship. Until that moment, you're a free agent. You're interviewing for a job. Until somebody makes you a job offer, you don't sit around and just go, well, I hope this person called me back, so I'm just going to. No, you keep interviewing until somebody makes the offer.
Translation, you keep getting bussed down by multiple different people and spreading yourself thin and opening yourself up to all these spirits and these demons and these devils and the opportunities that you shouldn't even be a part of. You should continue to do that until somebody says that, hey, I don't want you to continue to do that, and then you take yourself off the market. I got it.
Are they paying you for like long-term perfect match stuff, or they're paying you to get them some dates?
They're paying me to make the introductions, quality introductions.
Okay, quality introductions. You can't control what happens.
I can't control what happens. But usually with all the data that I collect, I'm able to go, this is data that I can analyze. You will probably be very compatible.
Building your online business?
Well, you heard what Anton Daniels had to say, and shout out to Anton Daniels, great content creator. Hopefully, we can do some work together in the future. I think it will be dope. Definitely go follow him, check his channel out if you're not familiar with him. So, I agree with a lot of the things that he said based on the video and as far as women dating multiple men. Now, I want to show this video because these are the sentiments that's not just on YouTube. These are the sentiments out there for women, particularly those women who are educated, who consider themselves high value, high quality, and feel like they have a lot of options, right? They would feel this way about dating multiple men, right? But the whole notion that she believes that dating is an interview process, which I get to a certain extent, right? When you are dating someone, right, you're trying to gather information to see if that person is going to fit your lifestyle, if y'all compatible, if y'all got a connection vibe and all that other stuff, right? For me, and I get it, I think she's supposed to be a relationship coach. But the sad thing is she's giving other women this advice, right? Which is not a great advice to give women to date multiple men. Because what you have to understand, ladies, for those of you that's watching, for those of you that will share this video, let me let you know something about men, right? For your typical man, for your average man, for your high value man, your high quality, high character, etc., whatever you want to put out there, and I'm not big on the high value and stuff like that, but I get that the term and the context exists, right? What men are really going to have a woman, and I'm assuming women are being honest and saying, hey, you're not the only one I'm dating. Okay. Now, we know that that's not 100% the case, right? But for the women out there that are being honest, kudos to you and shout out to you. If you're being honest with a man and saying, hey, you're not the only man that I'm dating, I wonder what response that women are getting. Because in my eyes, a man would say, okay, you date most of men. I'm not going to be one of them. Right. So I don't know any men that are just going to be cool with that, because if we're investing our time, our money, and our energy, that means a lot. Right. Now, I don't have to put a ring on your finger or commit or tell you I'm exclusively dating just so I can be your number one attention and the number one person and the only person that you dating. If you want to go date other people, have at it. But I'm not going to be one of them. Most men feel that way. And so it's dangerous to tell women to go out there and date multiple men when it's going to backfire. It's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. Okay. And that's a conversation I haven't heard as far as, well, what are the results that women are getting by dating multiple men? Now, I can tell you based off the single rate and based off the complaining that women are doing, that it doesn't look like it's working out too well as a strategy. So if I were you, I would suggest you just vet better, right? You can take your time, vet the men so before you even accept a date, talk to him, FaceTime him, right? So the whole notion we got dating, courtship, all that, man, throw all that out the window, man. Okay? Communicate. Talk on the phone, text message, FaceTime, right? Vet that person, have conversation, ask questions, right? Before you even go out on a date. Because why are you going out on a date if you don't feel like y'all compatible, if you don't have this vibe and this connection through communication, right? The last step is seeing somebody in person and seeing if that vibe and that chemistry is there in person, right? And that could be one date. You shouldn't go on more than one date if you know that's not there, right? So really what we should be telling women is you need to vet better. Your process of vetting a man for a potential partner should be a better process. Okay. And maybe we should do a video on that, or you could definitely reach out to me when it comes to the consultant tip. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that because unfortunately, this type of thinking and like it's out there, right? And ladies, I'm here to tell you that this is not a long-term strategy for you. It's not going to be as effective as you think it is. Okay. So let's get into our second piece. So with this episode, I kind of took a different route of making my case, right? Typically, I go into pieces of evidence that like go directly to my point, right? This is kind of reverse in that it's not that it's against my argument. It kind of actually states my argument, but just in a counterfactual manner. And what I mean by that is that the first piece of evidence I showed you a video talking about the mindset of the woman. This also gets to the mindset of how some women are out here thinking. Of course, not all women are thinking like this, but I just want to read you something. Actually, it's from Time. This is the second time I think I've used something from Time. Of a woman that wrote an article about how she felt about dating and how she got what she wanted. Okay. So I thought this was interesting and I wanted to read it to you. And we can address it as we read it. So let's get to the article. So the title of it is I refuse. Oh, sorry. Get heavy handed. I refuse to be exclusive until he proposed. Interesting, right? So let's read on. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because just the thought of this title just cracks me up. I'm an empowered woman of the 21st century. Look how it starts, right? I run a company, have a master's degree, and earn a handsome six-figure salary. Look how this. If that ain't a modern woman for you, talking about her education, her money, I'm empowered. You already know where this is going, right? Yet at heart, have always been a lover of old-fashioned romance. How crazy is that, right? But we hear that a lot, right? Modern, but traditional. So we had those hybrids, right? There's always been something very endearing to me about the idea of a man stepping up to claim me. It makes me feel special and cherished when someone makes an effort to win my heart, surprising me with flowers or jewelry or picking up the bill on a date, not because I can't afford to pay for myself, but because he enjoys treating me. Of course, right? It's not that affected. Of course you can afford it, right? You make a handsome six figure, but you want traditionalism while being modern. I realized early on that this is how I wanted to date. I wanted to be courted. I wanted someone who would make an effort. I wanted a man who was willing to commit and offer me a ring without taking years as if I was the one for him. The crazy part is that nowhere in this do you hear, and this is the problem with a lot of, because I always say for me, right, there's a lot of gorgeous, beautiful women out there. Many of them, right? But often what you see, the mentality is off. That's why there's a lot of single women out there. I'm just going to be honest with you, right? So the idea still is, even though they're modern, they'll tell you they don't need you, they making money, etc. The ideal is they still want to be treated a certain way, a traditional way, right? But they'll never tell you how they're going to treat a man, though. That never comes out their lips. Let's keep going. So that's what, oh my God, sorry. So that's what I set out to get when I first met my husband, Chris. After 8 weeks of dating, Chris wanted me to be his girlfriend. It was very clear that we liked each other. There was attraction and compatibility. For him, exclusivity was the natural next step. But I thought his offer was weak. With me as his girlfriend, he would get full access to me. He would sleep in my bed, lean on me for emotional support, show me off to his friends, and enjoy my company Chris, I gotta know who Chris is, bro. Cause like clearly, okay, I'm sorry. Let me keep going. I done lost my place messing around. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm so flustered by this. Now I lost my place. Sorry guys. Okay, I'm getting close. That would be all very nice, but it wouldn't give me any assurance about the future, which was what I needed to feel safe. The offer I wanted included a proposal and being told I would forever be his one and only. So after 8 weeks of dating, she wanted a proposal. 8 weeks. Let's keep reading. His defense, you might ask, how could he know so soon? He needs time to get to know you. That's exactly my point. Why should I shut down all my options while someone test drives me? I know many women don't mind that risk and often want the trial period with the potential partner themselves. I hold no judgment against them, but that path wasn't for me. My past experience had taught me that once in the girlfriend zone, I started to hope the relationship would lead to marriage, and every time it didn't, I got my heart broken. So instead, you wanted a man to propose to you, put a ring, and you thought that would mean that man, well, I guess in one sense, if he buying a ring, that he's serious. But that strategy right there, the reason why I want to read you this letter is because that thinking, though it may work for her, it's not going to work for most women. And if you are a woman and you're watching this, and as I read, if you're thinking, man, I should try that. No, don't do it. Because you're going to end up hurting in the long run. Because I got to know who Chris is. I want to meet Chris. Because clearly Chris is a simp. I'm sorry. And I ain't attacking you, Chris. I don't know you, bro. But come on. All right, let me keep reading. I'm getting triggered by, I don't know why this is triggering me. I'm getting triggered by this. Let's see. So when Chris asked me to be his girlfriend, I refused. I told him I really liked him, but I didn't want to be exclusive. I will continue dating him while also spending time with other men. And if things started to get serious with someone else, I will let him know. But I made sure he understood I didn't plan on being any man's girlfriend, so he didn't think my refusal was just about him. My philosophy made the best man win. So she's out here making dudes compete for her because she got a master's degree. She making 6 figures. She thinks she the prize. I already made a video on that. You know how I feel about that. She making dudes compete. And I almost cuss. He sticked around too. Man, let's keep reading, man. Boy, this got me fired up, man. Boy, I can't tell you. Lo and behold, the best man did win and turned out to be Chris. Of course. After 9 months of seeing me, Chris got down on one knee with the most gorgeous diamond sapphire ring I ever seen and told me he couldn't imagine his life without me. Today, we're blissfully married and have been blessed with a healthy baby boy. I have everything I wanted. We often sit down together and laugh about how hard it was for Chris to date a woman like me, but also how powerful an experience I had created for him. Boy, she thinks she's the bee's knees, I tell you. Woo. He says I inspire him to dig deep into his heart to consider whether I was the right person for him. Other women before me had been much easier to date, but they never forced him to think about settling down. And he confessed that he was scared another man would sweep me off my feet if he didn't gather his guts up and commit. Oh, boy, Chris. Was all this easy for me? Hell no. It pushed me way beyond my comfort zone. There were times when it was hard to me to believe there could be a man on the planet who would gladly accommodate me. That's what I'm tripping off of. The fact that he stuck around and followed her lead. And part of me feared my experiment might fail and leave me alone and heartbroken again. And yet it felt so empowering to stick to what I wanted and love, to be able to articulate it, to draw barriers, and for once, not to care about what made a man happy, but what made me happy. Wow. Did you hear that? To care about not what make another person about, but what make me happy. Like, clearly, she runs the relationship. She is the leader in the relationship. So, ladies, if you thinking that this strategy is going to work, and that's the end of it. Like, the simple fact that there was a man that stuck around and let a woman dictate how the relationship was going to go, how the dating process was going to go, how the marriage was going to go. And they said they blissfully happy. I got to take that word for it. But this is not ideal, right? If you think you're just going to be out there and then the man is supposed to compete, she ain't mentioned nothing about him dating and her being let the best woman win. She ain't mentioned nothing about that. So there's a lot of this going on out there now of women feeling like they're taking control and they're taking the power back by dictating dating by dating multiple men. But in the long run, it's only going to leave you lonely. Like she said, she knew in the back of her mind, this might not work. And what I'm telling you, ladies, is this is not going to work. And what I'm telling you, fellas, is if a woman is being honest with you and telling you that, run. Because it's about power and control. It's about dictating things. Because I get people are afraid of being hurt. I get it, right? But that's the chance you take with people. You take it with friends, family, you take it with any type of relationship, work. So it is what it is. You better vet and you better lock in. Because if you don't lock in, you're going to miss it. All right. That's piece of evidence number 2. Let's get into our final piece of evidence. Let's wrap it up. All right. So for my last piece of evidence, we're going to hookup culture, right? So a lot of times I hear women say, I'm not looking for a hookup. Well, we got to understand, we don't talk about it enough. Women create hookup culture. Men don't dictate sex. If you don't open your legs, I don't get the hookup. Okay. So women dictate hookup culture. The reason why you hear about hookup culture and a lot of people, participating in casual sex is because women out there are having more sex. They're having more one night stands. They're having more casual dating situations, right? They're having more situationships, friends with benefits, right? That doesn't happen unless a woman agrees to it. So a lot of time it get dumped on men, but no, like women have to agree to it. So in this final piece of evidence, why is dating multiple people dangerous for women or not a good thing for women is because of the hookup culture, right? Because if you're dating multiple men, those multiple men are going to want to have sex, and you're going to have sex with at least one of them. I mean, that's just truth, okay? If not multiple. So that is creating the hookup culture, which, based on this article from the Spotlight, never did this platform before. Hookup culture harms physical and mental health. Okay, so let's get into it and see what it's talking about. Okay. We live in an era of extensive sexual liberation with loosening social norms and advanced communication technologies easier than ever to find sexual partners, leading to the rise of the hookup in Western culture. According to the American Psychological Association, hookups are brief, uncommitted sexual encounters between people who are not romantic partners or dating each other. The term hookup culture refers to a culture that accepts and encourages hooking up. Sounds pretty nice, right? All of the pleasure and none of the effort of commitment. What could possibly be wrong with that? Quite a bit, as it turns out. Hookup culture is harmful to individual, harmful to society, and simply unethical. It's a lot of things that's unethical and immoral, but we still do it, right? Hooking up damages both the mental and physical health of the people who engage in it. And according to the APA, a survey of 1,468 undergraduate students found that 82.6% reported negative mental and emotional consequences, including embarrassment, loss of respect, and difficulty with maintaining steady relationships. Another study found that 78% of women and 72% of men who had engaged in uncommitted sex experience regret afterwards. I mean, I guess, right? That when they experience the regret during, right? I mean, furthermore, those who engage in hookup culture were found to have lower overall self-esteem scores than those who had not. And the reason why I want to read this article, because even though they did interview both men and women, we clearly understands that having sex with someone that's not a boyfriend or husband is going to have more damage on the woman than it will the man, right? Men are used to hooking up when they can hook up, right? Men are used to paying for sex. Women are not. Men dominate in the uses of porn. Women do not. So that's why I make the case that women, when it comes to dating multiple people, it's going to be more damaging. It's going to be more damage to their emotions, their self-esteem, etc. I think that the worst thing about it, one anonymous senior girl said, it ruined people's self-esteem. You notice that it was a female that said that. These effects are neither transient nor minor. According to the National Library of Medicine, both engaged in hookups and a number of hookup partners are related to greater symptoms of depression and anxiety. These are serious mental illness with potentially devastating, even deadly consequences, not mildly inconvenient moods constrained to the morning after. Many Southern Lehigh High School students are familiar with these feelings. It depends. On the one hand, it can make you feel very good, one anonymous senior boy said, or it's a really awful one and makes you feel incompetent or like you just don't meet their needs. It can vary widely. Notice that that is a young man, very young, 17, 18, saying that, right? Oh, this testimony is consistent with other accounts, both anecdotal and statistical. Emotions associated with hookers are typically mixed, and many individual instances have more positive than negative associations. These positive feelings, however, are often outweighed by the gravity of negative feeling. Hookups also blur the line in relationship, making it difficult for those involved to determine exactly what the relationship is. This causes confusion regarding expectations, which can lead to uncomfortable situations and inevitably results in emotional distress. As high schoolers, many of us have probably experienced this emotional distress firsthand, or at least have friends who have experienced it. That's high schoolers, right? So you got to take that with a grain of salt, because clearly we understand that men can have sex with multiple people and be quite fine, right? Men can date multiple people and be quite fine. Okay, so we talking about young kids here. We have to point that out. It always go pretty sour because they're like, "Oh, you just used me to be a shawty," when in reality it was a consensual conjoining of two hearts. Said the same anonymous boy. They looking for something long term and something that's Chardonnator doesn't want long term. I've never heard of that before. That's new to me. I guess it's the new kid. It's natural. Some people are just more clinging than others. While it may be gratifying in the short term, hooking up clearly leads to negative mental health outcomes in the long term. Hookup culture also leads to a rise in rates of sexually transmitted diseases. That is true. Unprotected sex is very common in hookups, with condoms being used in only 46% of instances, according to the APA. Hookup culture also heightens the risk of STD transmission due to the increased likelihood of having multiple concurrent partners. According to the National Library of Medicine, hookup culture does not only harm the mind, but poses significant risk to the body as well. And as well as, if that's the case, if women are having more sexual partners, then you're more likely to get pregnant, which of course is what we see with a lot of women having babies out of wedlock. We seeing a lot of women that are making bad choices in men. So dating multiple people is just not in the best interest. Like I said, we should be really concerning ourselves about our vetting process. Hookup culture is also detrimental to our society as a whole. According to the APA, research shows that people engage in casual, non-committal sexual behavior despite being uncomfortable doing so, likely because it's perceived as a norm. In fact, one survey of college students found that 77% of unwanted sex occurred in context of hookups. Hookup culture pressures people to harmful situations that they don't even want to be involved in. But the thing that's crazy to me is that if hookup culture exists, that means that a lot of people are doing it. So therefore, how can you have a study or a survey of people complaining about it? And I'm assuming that these people are doing it time and time again, right? So in order for this to exist, people have to be doing it at a high clip. So, and women hold the key to hookup culture. They can shut all this down if they're not dating multiple men at the same time, and if they're not opening their leg to all these men. And we have to be real. A lot of it is also based on the fact that a man having a lot of money and resources can take them different places. We have to be honest about that, right? Let's see. That's all I want to read. I just want to read that because yes, they did interview men and women, but clearly we understand that, men do not feel the same way about sex and about hooking up and about one night stands as women do, right? Clearly, a woman feels some type of way if she was to have sex with multiple men at the same time. Now, of course, I'm not saying all these women that want to date multiple people are having sex with all the men that they date. But we also have to be honest and know that a lot of them are, right? Because we understand that men are pursuing for that ultimate goal. Now, would they might want a relationship and marriage? Absolutely, right? But sex is huge with men. And I think we all understand this. I don't think it's something that have to be labor, right? So let's get into our closing statement. I think this is a good time for it. So, yes, can hookup culture be a bad thing for both men and women? Absolutely. Both of us participate in it, but as I stated, well, women hold the keys to sex. So if women hold the keys to sex, then that means that women have to dictate and control the amount of sex that is being had, right? Because we're as men, we're trying to pull out the stops in order to have sex. And I think we understand that, right? So the whole notion of women having this mentality that they're going to date multiple men so that the other men compete for her attention, right? It's ludicrous to me, right? To think that that's a strategy that will work, right? Because at the end of the day, dating is supposed to lead to a relationship, which a relationship is supposed to lead to something more long term, whether that's marriage or whether that's being in just a long term committed relationship, because everybody doesn't want to be married. But of course, we understand marriage is push, right? So when it comes to dating, I get it. It's not something that's serious, right? But to tell a man that, well, you're gonna have to put a ring on it, you're gonna have to promise a commitment by putting a ring on it in order to keep me from seeing other men, it's like it's ludicrous. Like, I don't get the thinking. And for those men that's doing it, I mean, I guess kudos to you. I mean, I just don't think it's a lot of men that's doing it, because we live in the dating world now. And the reason why people say dating is so hard is we living in a dating world where we have options. So that's part of the reason why people want to date so many people, because they have so many options. But as we can see, having all these options is not necessarily leading us to what it is that we need and what we want, right? So if a man know he has option, why would he put up with a female that is telling him that I'm going to be dating other people and you have to compete for me? Well, wouldn't the truth also be for the man as well? Wouldn't you have to compete for his attention, right? Or how about you both just stop playing games if you like each other, date each other exclusively, and just get off the market? How about that? Sounds simple to me, right? Because particularly when you're dating in older age, you should be done with all those games. You should get to a point where you do understand how to choose a man or a woman, right? So the reason why it is so tough is because people want to explore their options and people want to listen to this rhetoric on YouTube and social media and then go down a path that's not suitable for them, right? So what I'm here to tell you is that find that one person, ladies, right? Date him, rock with him, and you should it should only take a few times meeting, but you should have those conversations over the phone, text, FaceTime, like I said, to understand that, okay, this is somebody I want to pursue, or this is somebody I don't want to pursue, so that you don't waste your time. All right. So we're going to end the video on that. Please, as always, leave your comments, leave me any video suggestions. I'm open to it. I definitely make the case on it. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We trying to get our subscribers up so we can start going live, okay? I definitely think it'll be some great conversation once we go live, okay? So, hey, you already know, books, merch, all that stuff, you can find in the links in the description, all right? So, as always, man, I'm you, you are me, love always, love eternal. And the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. And I think we made that case, baby. All right.